Good morning, Carroll County. This is Brian DiLeonardo, your state's attorney, with this week's State's Attorney's Report. I'm really excited with one of the initiatives that we started last year in the office as something new was our major offender unit. And actually recently, Commissioner Wance highlighted the success of our unit over the last year and how it's been instrumental in really helping public safety in the county. And so this morning, I am fortunate to bring in our supervisor of our major offender unit, Cara Frieman. So good morning.
Good morning.
Major offender unit, let me ask you, Cara, if you can describe a little bit, tell us what the goal of the unit is and the focus.
Sure. The goal of the major offender unit is to focus on the individuals in Carroll County who are committing the most serious crimes and who are committing the majority of the crimes. So our focus is to aggressively prosecute those individuals and also to ensure that we're working with all of our law enforcement agencies to aggressively investigate those individuals.
And essentially, the theory of this when I was trying to get it started was that we would identify sort of your top 10 worst offenders and go after them. And as we take one of them out of the community and we incarcerate them, we're able to replace them with someone else. And the idea is, again, a lot of times 10% of the people are 90% of your problem. And so we try to have a very, very coordinated effort when it comes to the offender unit. So, Cara, let me ask you, can you tell us a little bit about what successes the major offender unit has had?
Sure. In 2016, we started working with our law enforcement agencies to have quarterly meetings. Those included all of the municipal police agencies, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, Maryland State Police, and also out-of-jurisdiction law enforcement agencies like the Howard County Police. And we worked with them to identify individuals within their jurisdictions who are committing the most serious crimes and are the most frequent offenders. So from that list, we created our major offender list. And from those individuals in 2016, we had 17 successes. We had one jury trial, 15 guilty pleas, and one of those individuals was abated by death. As a result of those convictions, our unit secured 267 years of active incarceration, 130 years of that to be served without the possibility of parole.
Now, you ultimately talked about 26, and you said out of those, essentially 17 were taken off the streets or out of commission. What happened to the other 9?
The remaining individuals are still pending cases, and they are currently incarcerated pending those charges.
So ultimately, all 26 of those that were identified by sitting down and saying, these are our worst offenders, we've managed to get off the streets.
Yes, and we're most proud that of the individuals that we identified, there have been no dismissals, and there have been no not guilty verdicts.
And that's, it's certainly a tremendous amount of cooperation that's involved with this. Let me ask you this, and I think sometimes we talk about these numbers overall, but can you give us an example of a case, someone who was identified by our office as a major offender and sort of how we went through that process?
Certainly. When I first came to the office in May of 2015, one of the individuals that I first indicted was Joseph Page. That was a case that he was indicted for felony drug charges. And at that time, he was identified based on his record as an individual who would be appropriate for the major offender list. Mr. Page was placed on pretrial services, and as a result of being on pretrial services, was on a GPS box. So the pretrial services unit was able to see where he was at any given time. We worked together with pretrial services who actually reached out to our office about some suspicious activity that they observed with Mr. Page. And from that, we developed an additional investigation with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office conducted an investigation, and actually we were able to secure an additional felony drug indictment on Mr. Page based on their investigation. And we just convicted Mr. Page. He is currently serving a 20-year sentence at the Division of Correction.
So one of the things that we like to highlight is, with the major offender unit, we identify, we essentially put this person under a microscope so that one prosecutor is handling all aspects of their case. And really it is also, you talk about pretrial services, the law enforcement agencies all working hand in hand to make this happen. We talk a little bit about his background. Can you give us an idea when we talk about how you get to the offender list? How long has someone like that been around?
Sure. Mr. Page had his first criminal conviction back in 1996. So he was an individual that was known to local law enforcement. He had 2 prior felony drug convictions, in addition to a number of other convictions, including handgun wear, carry, transport, and a number of assaults.
And that was why, I mean, I know when I came into office, I had seen cases like that where they continue to be in the system over and over and over again. They continue to be a problem to the community. And I think that was the reason for the offender unit was essentially, look, we got to take these people out of circulation. And I think when we do that, we see some certainly significant differences. What was it about Mr. Page in terms of, he just recently got convicted, is that right?
That's correct.
What do you think was one of the factors that really led to the court agreeing with our recommendation of 20 years of incarceration?
I think having one prosecutor coordinate all of the pending cases that Mr. Page had. He was on probation to one of our judges in the circuit court. He had, at one point, 4 pending matters, which we were able to consolidate between 2 prosecutors, myself and Brenda Harkavy, because Mr. Page was also a domestic violence offender. So by coordinating all of the cases together and making sure that we had complete investigations and that we had worked closely enough with our law enforcement to know his entire background so that we could present a full picture to the court of who Mr. Page actually was, we were able to secure a significant period of incarceration for him.
Well, and that is tremendous success, and certainly I'm proud of the work of the unit and Cara, the work she's done. It is a tremendous asset when we are able to have these problems, and I know now a lot of law enforcement will even contact and give information with one of those that are on our list. Now, how do you maintain? You had these 26 people that were already sort of taken out of circulation. How do you look for new individuals with our enforcement agencies?
So as part of what I had spoken about before, the quarterly meetings that we have with all of the municipal agencies, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, Maryland State Police, we identify new offenders through that meeting, which we call our Major Offender Working Group meeting. And also we've been working with HIDA, the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area designation that we just got. We've been working with HIDA to use their algorithms to develop an additional list based on data to identify individuals who might be living in Carroll County or coming to Carroll County to commit crimes.
Well, excellent. Well, again, thank you so much for all your hard work. I certainly congratulate you for the hard work you've done in the Major Offender Unit. Also, I congratulate you for the new addition to your family. I wanted to let everyone know Cara is a proud new mom of a beautiful little girl. And I have to also send my best wishes to a new great-grandmother, Yvonne Wareheim, out there. So if you're listening this morning, thank you for being a loyal listener. And to all of you in the county, thank you so much for all your continued support. Have a great day.